make a real nice handful.
And it doesn't kill the
A dream can be a dream come true with just that spark in me and you.
Hello! Welcome. Today is mine and Grant's 3.5-year anniversary. Yay! Hey! We have these cute little buttons. I don't even wait. These little buttons. So cute. So we are at Epcot today celebrating. We are going to do the behind the scenes tour over at the Land. Then we have reservations for lunch at, I forget the name of it right now, but the Mexican place inside of the temple next to the water ride. So we're going to do that. And whatever. I don't know. Some other stuff. But anyway, I'll check back in with you whenever we get to the tour. And I'll show you what I can of that. Bye!
Oh yeah.
Welcome to the sim track. Here comes the final test.
Energizing for power test.
Integrated pest management is a comprehensive form of programs that we use here at the Land to try to minimize the pests that we get in our greenhouse, or when they do get in there, to try to control them. Mini garden, which is this colorful little box here. You can see in the corner. You might have seen them sitting up there by the tour desk when you signed in. Now this is a little plant growing in a test tube. The plant is growing in an agar solution, which is like a gelatin disc. Now that disc has all of the water and all of the nutrients that plant needs to live. So it's a really self-containing little space to where you don't have to water the plant, you don't have to feed the plant, you just have to put it up on a windowsill, let it get a little bit of sunlight, and watch it grow. It'll last for about 6 weeks, maybe a little more, and the only thing that will limit it is when it runs out of space. So when it grows to the top of the jar, then you can take it out, wash off the little gelatin, and put it in a different pot, put it in your home garden, and you can watch it grow to its full size. Like a dragon fruit, the big cactus produces really, really pretty pink fruit, and they can get really big around, as tall as me. And you can grow that in your own home, and they can start it out in a test tube. They're getting misted with an irrigation supply of water, and that water's already had nutrients pumped into it. So these roots are getting directly to them water and nutrients, and they don't need any soil. In fact, these guys don't need anything at all. You see the roots just hanging there. Throughout this greenhouse, a lot of this stuff in here is not exactly commercially efficient. You wouldn't use it to grow a whole lot of something, but some of them are. Actually, behind me, we have our column pots here, which are often used in commercial systems, and then even beyond that, you guys see all those rows, those racks of plants going up there? It's called a verticrop system. You're taking basically an entire field where it's laid out real flat, and instead of having all those plants in that one flat area, you can stack them on top of each other and have the same number of plants in a really short space. Anybody want to guess how many plants we have in that one small area? No guesses? Over 9,000. Almost 10,000 plants in that one little area. So it's a really good way for a lot of companies to maybe, if you're in like an urban area, a big city, take New York, rent's not cheap, it's hard to find good produce, there's not very much good soil around, so you buy an old warehouse and you stack your plants up to the ceiling, and you can grow fresh produce in the middle of a very urban area, very dense population. As you guys get a nice feel for him, he's exhibiting a characteristic called trigger pressure. And what that means is he's through vibrations, he's feeling the vibrations in the leaves, and so he's rapidly taking all the water from those leaves and pulling them back into the stem. And that causes the leaves to shrivel up. Goes in its every so often, you get all those raindrops gathered on the leaves, and they don't make it to the soil, they don't get to the roots. Well, in this case, it rains and it's windy, and all those leaves sucked up like that, and then now you can have the water kind of actually going through the canopy and getting that soil, it soaks up to the roots.
Thank you.
Our string greenhouse. This is our main crop production greenhouse where most of our produce comes from. It's also the greenhouse that I am working in, so if you have any questions, get them all out of the way now because I don't know anything else. Once we get into the other greenhouses.
Sure.
Yeah, we're not very original when it comes to naming things here. This is called the string greenhouse because we're growing things on string. We have them strung up here, and as they grow, we wrap them around the string until they get to the top. And then once that vine keeps going, we kind of let it go however it wants. It makes a real nice canopy. Normally, this would be the exact same except they'd be on the ground. Now, the benefit of having it up in the air is it goes back to the IPM work we were in. Talk about the different bugs and stuff. So it makes it a lot more difficult for bugs to crawl up into the canopy if they just can only go up this one little vine rather than it being right on the floor. Also, if it's on the ground, you get a lot more rot, a lot of funguses and mildews, which we don't get here because we get a lot of good airflow. It's also really easy for me to come in here and scout for pests or harvest when the time comes. I don't have to bend over and kill my back. Them up and then throw them around, and once we brought them up in the air, like these vines are still growing straight ahead. But down here, we can trim all these lower hanging leaves off, so they have bare vines, and that gets a lot of good airflow. We don't get any powdery mildew, which is a very common fungus on tomatoes. We don't get a whole lot of pests crawling in there. We can easily scout when they are in there. But these plants stay just as productive as your typical houseplant would per square inch. Then if you've grown tomatoes, you know that for as small of a vine as they are, they actually produce quite a bit of fruit for how small that vine is. This is the same way, except we have a much longer vine. Now, as I do this little demonstration, you guys can all kind of walk through so you can see on the other side, but this plant right here, the very first one started here. See where the little pink Velcro is? That plant worked its way up and over, all the way. Not here. Not in here. Way down here. Wow. That is the end of that plant. Now here we have our lettuce growing in these, they look like rain butters, really hollow shoots. Now we have these evenly spaced cutout squares for our Rockwell cubes that we got to see in the last greenhouse. We have our little lettuce sprouts growing in those. And then what we'll do is we'll have just a small, again, filled with water, nice and small. It just takes that little bit of water, and that'll be gravity fed all the way down to the bottom and water all those plants. Once it gets to the bottom, in the grate down there, underneath the grate, we have a return pump, so it'll return all that water back to this system where it's filtered. It goes into this gray box that looks like a home air conditioner. It's actually a water chiller. Lettuce normally grows in a much cooler climate. If it gets too warm, it'll bolt. And when I say bolt, I mean it'll take a seed pod and shoot it out the top of that lettuce head and produce a seed pod. So to prevent that, we kind of trick the lettuce into thinking it's in a cooler environment than it really is. Chill the water and we filter it one more time, and then it gets pumped back into the system. So this system is very efficient for its water use, about 90% more efficient than a conventional field. In this case, we're growing a head of lettuce with about 1.5 gallons of water, as opposed to about 10 gallons of water in a regular field, 10 or 11. But we're still being very productive. Each one of these beds, we have 4 beds here, each one of them holds 500 head of lettuce. And we can harvest 1 bed every single week. So about 2,000 heads of lettuce every single month for our restaurants. Very efficient system. We're even able to use some familiar faces in our artwork here. Across the way, can anybody read what that says? It's kind of difficult.
Epcot.
Any questions about our lettuce? Okay. Yeah. Feed most of the world's population every single day. Grains like wheat, barley, corn, millet, sorghum. So we're growing them obviously in sand, a little bit differently than what you might be used to seeing. The reason is we're kind of trying to illustrate to you guys how we can grow those same food crops that feed most of the world's population every single day, even in a very inhospitable or arid climate, like a desert or in this case a beach. This is pure Florida beach sand, and it provides virtually no nutrients to our plants whatsoever, which is how we're able to claim that we're still growing them hydroponically.
Thank you.